Hello, and welcome again to the archives. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about Jinteki. In specific, this is the replicating perfection identity. Now, I love this identity because this identity is that the runner cannot run on a remote server. However, you ignore this ability until the end of the turn whenever the runner runs on a central server. So basically what it means is that the runner has to run on a central server before they can run on any remote servers. And since the remote servers are where you put your agendas to score them, this is a really fun little card, especially with the deck that I have built around Jinteki. Now, one of the things that I've done is that this particular deck that I have is loaded. This is what I like to call the Jinteki shell game. And I've heard it called this as well by other people, is that I have this one, Shikyu, Psychic Field, Snare, Shock, Edge of the World, and Project Junebug, all in this deck. All traps, they all cost 0 to res, so it costs you no money to res it. It can cost the runner some money for a couple of them to trash them, but they're all traps. They all do damage, because I like to take all of these cards, all these wonderful traps that I have, and seed them out. Have multiple servers. And only one of them is going to have an agenda at any one time, even if any of them do. You make it so that this deck is designed to make the runner hesitant against running on any of your remote servers, because it costs them so much to do. Now, that's not the only fun thing in this deck. No. I've got some other stuff. Like this one. Sundew. Now, Sundew is a wonderful little card, especially with the Replicating Perfection identity, because the first time the runner spends at least one click on his or her turn. So the very first time she spends a click on anything, which is, drawing a card, making a run, that's when you're spending clicks. You gain 2 credits unless the runner just initiated a run on this server. This has to be put in a remote server. This one means they can't run on a remote server unless they run on a central server. So as long as this is active, you're getting 2 credits every time the runner starts his turn. Most runners don't like that. They'll try and get it removed. But that's not even the best. Then you have this wonderful little thing, the Mental Health Clinic. Now, the Mental Health Clinic is 0 to res. You gain a credit when your turn begins. It's kind of like Pad Campaign in a way, because it just gives you a credit as the corporation. But it also increases the runner's maximum hand size by 1. So this is a benefit to the runner, and costs 3 credits for the runner to trash, and gives you 1 every turn. So that makes them waste money to get rid of it. But it also ups their hand size, which is beneficial for some of the trap cards and some of the ice that I have. Because one of the pieces of ice that I do have is, let's move these out of the way, Komainu. When the runner encounters Komainu, it gains do 1 net damage for each card in the runner's grip for the remainder of this run. So if you boosted up the runner's hand size with Mental Health Clinic, and he's got a full complement, like 6 cards in his hand when he hits that, that's a Sentry ice with 6 subroutines of do 1 net damage. It is nasty. Now, I also have a wonderful piece of ice from a more advanced data pack, one of the mythic ice. Now, I found this one and I had to include it in this deck, at least one of it, because it is Excalibur. It is mythic grail ice, which means there is really nothing out there that I know of that can stop it, that can even touch this. None of the runner's programs, I don't think, can touch mythic ice. And what it does, the runner cannot make another run this turn. You put this on a central server. If they hit that central server and hit that ice, they can't run on any of this. Now that is really nice to do, especially if they have to. You can literally stop them from going after archives or R&D or your hand, depending on what you want to do with it. Now, what else do I have? Ah, yes. Medical Breakthrough. This is a nice little agenda for this deck because it costs 4 to score it. It's worth 2 agenda points. And as soon as you score it, it lowers the advance requirement for Medical Breakthrough by 1. So you've got 3 Medical Breakthroughs in your hand. You score this, the next one only costs 3 to score. The one following it will only cost 2 because then you've got 2 of these in your score area. So you can blow through agendas real fast with this one. This is nice for this deck. What's also nice for this deck, because you'll be throwing credits down on some of these trap cards that you have laid in the hopes that the runner will run in and think it's an agenda. But there are times when they'll be like, no, that's a trap. I'm not running on that. And you're like, oh, well, I've lost those credits on there, haven't I? No, because then you use Trick of the Light. You spend a credit, you move up to 2 advancement tokens from a card to another installed card that can be advanced, which is very nice. You play that and you're like, oh, I'll take these 2 and I'll stick them on here. Oh, wait, that was an agenda. I score it. And you get points. That's nice to have. Now, the last time I played this, I took out the runner quite quickly because they fell for a trick that I had done, and I'm so glad it worked out this way. So I'm just going to share it to you as a final bit. Mushin Notion. 0 credits to play this event, but it does cost you 2 clicks because it costs an additional click. It's a double event. Basically, it says install an asset, agenda, or upgrade from HQ into a new remote server. Place 3 advancement tokens on it, and then you cannot score or res that card until your next turn begins. So I played this, and I went, I'm going to install a card here, 3 advancement tokens on it, and for my last click, I put a piece of ice in front of it. Then it was his turn. The runner ran on one of my central servers, came back and was like, I'm going to run on this one. Blew through the ice because it wasn't really all that effective. Hit this. I'm like, he accesses it. Oh, it's Project Junebug. I pay a credit because he's accessed it. You, as the corporation, when they access a card, you get to pay a credit for the paid ability on it before he gets to trash it, I believe. That's how it works. Now, when he accessed it, I paid a credit. It did 2 net damage for every advancement token on it. There was 3 advancement tokens on it. That's an instant 6 net damage. He did not have even close to that amount of cards in his hand. Boom. That's what I love about the Jinteki shell game. You can do such fun with this. It's not so much about winning as it is about destroying the other runner and making them really not want to run on you. So yes, I do like this. There'll be more coming in the future until next week, or next time, I should say. I don't know if I'll be able to get one out next week, but until next time, keep running.